Welcome back to my channel, everybody. And just as promised a few weeks ago, I will be looking at the Robot Spirits, Jaeger, Gypsy Avenger, and Obsidian Fury Siberia 2-pack battle. Oh, wait. I gotta go check who's entering. Anyways, continuing forward, I will be looking at these two figures today, just as promised a few weeks back. And the first thing I want to talk about is probably the articulation, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna start with Gypsy Avenger first, considering just like I was saying, I will be looking at Gypsy Avenger first, mostly because he is my favorite Jaeger of the entire Pacific Rim franchise. I really like his design, his arsenal in the movie, from the gravity sling to the upgraded plasma caster to Obsidian for your chainsword, which this figure doesn't have, unfortunately. But hey, it would have been nice. I do have another figure that does come with them, and I will be reviewing those sooner than later. But anyways, talking about his articulation, he can move his arm out. He has this right here. It's a double. It's basically a dumbbell joint that connects to the inside where his arm starts and then goes up to his shoulder protectors, I guess. And then it goes down into his bicep, which allows it to swivel. He also has a double jointed elbow, which allows him to bend like this, which is nice. It gives him more than a 90-degree angle. His forearm can't really rotate, but he does have a ball jointed hand or wrist or fist, whatever. He also has not that much of an ab crunch, but he can large back kind of far. He has a ball jointed head and neck. If you can see it right there, the neck does move slightly. I do like it. I don't think I didn't notice the first time around when I unboxed him. He also has those drop down hips, which allows him to move like this. It's kind of weird, but if you manage to actually play with them, he can make him stand and look somewhat in a normal neutral pose. He has a double jointed knee, which allows it a more than 90-degree angle. He has a beautiful spread, and he has an ankle. He has a ball jointed ankle, which allows him to basically give him any dynamic pose that you would want. You also have the wings that somewhat detach, but get easily reattached, and that's really about it. If I'm going to talk about details, it is accurate to the movie, mostly with all the red lines and I guess Americanized tattoos or whatever those are supposed to be, decals. And yeah, but this figure is supposed to represent the battle that he has with Obsidian Fury in Siberia in like the middle of the movie that they do end up winning. And honestly, it's a pretty good figure. It's a pretty good design. It also kind of represents how in the movie Gypsy Avenger is supposed to be this successor to Gypsy Danger. You know, it's as a memorial but upgraded, kind of like they said they want to give the design a more fighter jet style, which I like. Sorry, I actually forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, other than that, the articulation is pretty great. I do have some gripes with it, other than specifically the fact that this section of the body doesn't move that much. It's kind of disappointed by that. Well, I kind of am disappointed by that. I would have liked it to move, so it allows more posability. Yeah, the torso can also swivel. I forgot to add that, but yeah. Other than that, it's a pretty great figure. I definitely recommend getting it if you can find this at a cheap price. This, or not even just a cheap price, but the actual original authentic figure, as people do sell bootlegs of this guy online. Which, I definitely recommend avoiding. But yeah, other than that, he comes with his chainsword accessory. As a nice, if the camera could focus. Come on, come on, come on. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Come on, nearly there. Nearly there. There we go. As a nice shine, metallic blue, a dark blue in the inner layer, and hold up, focus. Yep, and a lighter one around the outer layer. Now to install this, you're gonna have to honestly take off the arm just like this, as this has basically been the mechanic for this design over the years. You just take off the arm and the fist, and you install it just like this. It should slide in pretty well. It's going to slide into this little hole right there. So you just do that neat and clean. Then you take off the fist, and boom, there we go. Now it's attached, and you can do basically whatever the hell you want with it. You can pose it fighting either a kaiju, which I do not have, or you can make him fight Obsidian Fury. Now, moving on to Obsidian Fury. Honestly, this design is not that bland, but also is kind of unique. As for the Pacific Rim, or for Uprising, it is more along the lines of an alien-made Jaeger. When you think about it, look at the design, it is not really human-made as opposed to, well, Gypsy Avenger. You can kind of see the difference. This would be man-made, and this looks like more like an alien, which goes along with what was shown in the movie, as since, well, this was basically made by the company that ends up, well, not being really villainous, but used for nefarious schemes. I honestly really like that they managed to encapsulate that into the figure, as this is one of the best things that Bandai does know how to make, is basically making good alien figures, especially when it comes to robots. But yeah, his articulation is pretty standard. He has a ball jointed, wrist, double bending elbows, drop down shoulders. He also his shoulder blades are not connected to, well, they're not really connected, as you can see right there, unlike Gypsy Avenger. So these moves pretty individual on their own. He also has a ball jointed head, which allows him to look up and down that far. But and he does have neck articulation. His torso can swivel around and arch back, but cannot crunch that much forward. He also has the drop down hips, just like that, and the double jointed knee, which is pretty nice. Also, his ankle articulation is far better than Gypsy Avenger, so that's cool. That's going to allow for a bunch of posability. That's really about it. And that's really about it. Other than that, like, the design is pretty fine, in my opinion. The most unique thing about it is that it looks more alien-esque than, like, the main human Jaegers. He does have some nice orange lines. And to equip the two plasma chainswords, you're going to have to do this. You're basically going to take those forearm sides and then equip it just like this. And then take the covers back on. And you equip it just like this. Yep. There you go. Fits nicely. And now you can have him fight Gypsy Avenger. He also the two figures also comes with a pair of fists. Already have the pair of fists equipped on Gypsy Avenger, but he also does come with open arms, with open hands. My fault. Just like Obsidian Fury, I actually have it on the box. I actually have them in the box that my cameras are standing on. So yeah, if you want to do that, you can do that. And for the plasma and for the other arm, you just do the same process. Equip this, place it like that, and then you place this back on top of here, and there you go. You now have Obsidian Fury with his two plasma chainswords. So yeah, and now if you want to, you can make them fight just like in Siberia, which is pretty neat. And honestly, that's gonna be really about it. Oh wait, nope, it's not really about it. I forgot about this one thing. A size difference or size comparison. Let me go get some figures really quick. Here he is. Here they are next to the. Hold up. Let me just create a little bit of space. All right. Here they stand next to the Hiya Toys Kong 2024 with the axe. I have not made a review of this guy because I'm pretty sure it'd be repetitive from, reviewing Kong over and over again. They stand pretty much taller than him at around, since this guy is like what, maybe 5 to 6 inches, they'd be around 7 to 8, which is exactly how tall they are compared to the higher toys. Heat Ray Translucent Godzilla right here. They're actually somewhat taller than him, or as tall as him. Maybe for Gypsy Avenger, but definitely taller for Obsidian Fury. Let me just place this guy back in a more neutral stance. And yeah, you can clearly see it that these guys are taller than him. Well, let me just set him straight like this. Maxi clearly seems to be as tall as them, if not just a little bit shorter. And here's basically Kong next to all of them. Let me just really quickly take my camera back and I'll show you how tall they are. There we go. And he fell over. Whatever. You know what? You can stay on the size comparison. But yeah, this is approximately how tall they are. You can, if on camera, you can see the difference. But yeah, and honestly, that will be pretty much it for the review. If you want to get these guys, I suggest going to jpfans. I will leave an affiliate link down below. So if you to essentially help you get them for yourself, you're going to have to pay a hefty price. I did pay around $100 for them. So if you want to, you can basically go do that. You can either pay up, or if you do not want to, you can skip and potentially just buy figures that are cheaper. It's honestly up to you. But yeah, that will be about it for today's video. And honestly, have you guys have a nice day, and may God bless you.